Okay. I am, yes I am, mystic Madonna of this universe, Adamus Saint Germain. Good evening, everybody. Hello. First of all, let's get rid of this. Because I want to stand up for you tonight and wish you all the best. Because you are about to undertake a journey that I have undertook quite some time ago. A journey that is going to lead you beyond your wildest dreams, I can tell you. Now, Ikara can talk for hours and hours and hours, just like my master back then, Kuan Yin, talked for hours and hours and hours. But really, Imzaia, the truth behind all this is to be found in your very core being, in the things that you do, in the actions that you undertake. Masters, writers, whatever, can talk to you for hours, but if you are not the one to activate all of this, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. You are the one to put energy into action. How? By not your words, but your deeds. By your initiative. If you had shown more initiative every single day, then you wouldn't be here right now. If I hadn't shown initiative back then in my day, I wouldn't be here right now. You see, it's all about making a choice and then activating that choice in everything that you do. It's about focus. It's about initiative. It's about power. It's about mastery. Now, what is initiative? It's very simple. Again, it's choosing something and then making that happen. That's all there is to it. There's nothing else to it. Making it happen. Not allowing yourself to slide back down the scale. To go all the way back down. Someone once said, energy tends to raise itself naturally. And it does. You just need to allow for it to happen. Back in the 70s, when others like myself, and sometimes even myself, were coming into this earth and speaking on occasions such as this one, we used to say that all you had to do was sit back and receive. Yes, sit back and receive. That's all very well. But still, you need to make it happen. You can sit back and receive until pigs fly. You know? But it ain't gonna do you no good. You are going to have to be the ones that make it happen. Sitting back and receive is good for energy to come into your system, but then you have to stand up and do something. Making it happen. That's what it's all about. And at the same time, it is all about you. all about you. Now the Shaumbra know this. The Shaumbra amongst you are aware that things are revolving around you. But the concept of you is something that needs to be re-identified. As Ikara has told you, you are more than your body. You are more than your mind. You are more than a mere thought of the universe. You are the universe. And if you don't put things into action, it's never gonna happen. Now you can all go home in 2 days and continue on with your lives. That's an option. That's something that you can do. But what good would that do to you, to the others around you, to the world, and to the universe? It would do nothing. I know from personal experience that this road is not always an easy road. I know from my master Kuan Yin back then that she herself also had to choose things the hard way. When she went into training, for instance, with her master Lal Singh, the only thing she took from home, as some of you here know, was a small suitcase. You see, Kuan Yin back then, so many thousand years ago, had a family, just like you. She even gave birth several months before making the decision to enter into a road that would lead her to mastery. She gave birth to a small child, a little girl. And when she looked into the eyes of this little girl, that basically was the moment when her life changed. Now I know that some of you would think, how can you leave behind a small child? How can you leave behind a family? Now you must know that back then, in those days, especially in the Asian world, in China, it was not done. That you would pack up and leave. Family, honor, all of that was everything. And some of you might know this because some of you have lived several lives in Asia. But she did. Why did she do it? Because she looked into her little girl's eyes and she saw there the power of universal love and the potential that that child had. The things that she could do on the planet if only people would allow that to happen. If people would be bold enough to open up themselves, open up their hearts, open up their true power and potentials and get on with it. And because she knew, because she had read the texts and she had found all the things that she needed to find, she knew that that meant that she needed to get on with it. So in the middle of the night, she decided to leave her family, to leave her children behind, her one child at least, but her sisters were also her children. To pack all of that up in one suitcase and to go. And she walked for several hours up until she ran across the house that her master resided in. And as she came to the portal, actually it was a door, but to her it was a portal, of course. She stayed there for several hours until she decided to go in. And most of those hours was a struggle not to go back home. As she finally entered the house, she found her master sitting near the fireplace, and she went to sit in front of him. And she humbly, because that was appropriate back then, people believed, she humbly said, I want to know what you know. I want to be what you are. I want to go where you know. You see? And her master, all sing, sat there for a while, observing her, just looking at her, and then looking at that little suitcase that just had some drawings, some things that belonged to her sisters, and a little drawing from her small child, because obviously back then pictures hadn't been invented yet. And the master looked in her eyes, and back to the suitcase, and back into her eyes, and all he said was, if you want to start this journey, then throw that suitcase into the fire. Throw it into the fire. Do it right now. And Kuan Yin couldn't bring herself to do it. She couldn't. If she did that, that would mean leaving everything behind. How could you do that? So she went away, stood in front of that house for several hours more, unable to move, not able to go anywhere, not able to go back home, because that would mean that she would go back into what she already knew was an illusion. And not being able to go inside, because that would mean action. And all of a sudden, there was a small cat. A small cat that just walked up to her and started purring at her feet. And Kuan Yin, having the temper that she has, tried to kick the cat out of her way. Angry. Angry at life. Angry at everything. Angry at the choices that she had to make. But the cat came back and started purring yet again. And Kuan Yin finally decided to look into the eyes of that cat. She took it up into her arms and saw within the eyes of that cat a universe of potential reflected back at her. And what she saw, dear ones, wasn't her own life potential. What she saw wasn't the universe's life potential. What she saw in that cat's eyes was her own child. She saw her child doing the things that she was dreaming of right now. She understood that if she walked through that door back into that room to throw that case into the fire, that would activate a path within herself, and as such within the universe, that would eventually lead to her daughter becoming a master herself. And so she knew that what she saw was her daughter in a future timeline coming back to her to show her that the step that she took was the right one. And Kuan knew that if she were to walk away from that house at that point, that cat would cease to exist, because the potential for her daughter's mastery would be closed off. So, having a temper is one thing, but being bold, being courageous, having the guts to undertake the action that is required is also one of her qualities. And so she took that suitcase, took that cat, and went back into the house. She looked the master in the eye, and she tossed the briefcase, the suitcase, into the fire. She didn't do the same thing to the cat. But she tossed the suitcase into the fire. Now, the reason why I am telling you this story, and I'm not going to be long, so don't worry. The reason why I'm telling you this story is very simple. Because if you are listening to this story, it would be very easy for the mind to say that it was cruel of her to leave her child behind and to leave her family behind. And I am not saying that that is the only way to mastery and that is the thing that you should do. I'm not saying that at all. For her, that was the right decision. It doesn't have to be the same way with you. Why? It's very simple. Because this earth is getting closer to the jump point than any other time in history. So it is not necessary to completely leave all of the people in your life behind. Unless that is your potential. If it is, carry it boldly. Know that everything around you is just an illusion. And know that you have the ability to be a multidimensional person, which means that time and space mean nothing. Nothing. I can be here right now. November 9th, 2007. At the same time, I am answering questions somewhere in the United States. At the same time, I am assisting a person that is opening her heart for the very first time. At the same time, in my experience, I am connecting with you just a while ago. It is all happening now. It is all based on a decision, a moment, a choice that I made. And as such, all of my life is happening right now. At the same time, I exist in several bodies on this planet Earth. And you would be surprised of some of the bodies because they would be bodies that you know very, very well. I like to sing, for instance. I like to sing because that is one of the ways into people's hearts. It opens them up. If you have the right words to sing about and the right truth. Now again, Imzaia, all of this is available to you as well. Because you are me, you see, and I am you. It's available to you as well. And each of you has a very individual path out of this illusion that you call reality. Why is it an individual path? It's very simple. Because your mind has created individual realities for all of you. You think you are all sitting here right now, experiencing the same reality. Nothing could be further from the truth. You are not experiencing the same reality. You are all experiencing shattered realities. His reality over there is different than hers, or than hers, or than his, or yours. All of them are different. Because your frame of mind is different. The way that you perceive an object, a person, or a situation, even this conversation right now, is being perceived in a different way. You are seeing that spot over there going yellow, but what you perceive as yellow and what you perceive as yellow is something completely different based on your input. So this is a very difficult concept to explain, but you are all experiencing shattered realities. The thing about activating your DNA is all about uniting realities. Because that's consciousness versus mind, you see. When you are in consciousness, you are all experiencing the same path in your own individualized expressions of it. Once you are experiencing mind, you are alone. And that's why there is a void. And that's why you are trying to fill the void, you see. Again, Ikara and so many others, Cryon, just to name a few, can talk about this for such a long time. But someone like myself, who has gone through it, who has had the experience that you are having right now, is someone who is much better placed to guide you through it. And that is why in the coming days, I myself, Adamus, and my good friend who is giving that lady a back rub right now, Tobias, and then obviously Kutumi, who is doing his own thing as usual in this room. I won't go into detail there, it's pretty disgusting actually. Will guide you through this process. The only thing that we can do is remind you of the 6 phases that are there on the way, on the road to mastery. All of you are in the first phase. Most people, in fact, are in the first phase. What is the first phase exactly? It's very simple. It exists in cycles, a cyclic system. I know that Ikara has told you about this, but he hasn't told you how you can actually work with those cycles. It's a spiral, you see. And if you start creating your focus, and if you start focusing your energy and your consciousness on creation, on that which you want to create, you start walking the path. You start walking the cycles. As you go higher up into the cycles, you will start noticing that the space around you is opening up. The only reason why you have these thoughts that come in, that give you pain and that give you suffering and that give you fear, are because the space that you are experiencing your energy in is so tight, is so small. So the thoughts that are coming in keep bouncing around in that box and they keep hitting you. Fear keeps hitting you. Fear of death, fear of a lack of financial things in your life, support, keeps hitting you until you start moving the path up. And then you see that the space will open up. And of course, the mind has created this in such a way that it's going to be difficult to do that. Just like the law in physics, an object that is in motion likes to stay in motion, an object that is not in motion likes to stay still. If you have a truck on your highways and that truck needs to start moving, it just doesn't go from 0 to 120 kilometers an hour in just one moment. It takes time to start up. Your path takes time to start up. The reason for these 3 days and the coming days after that is to help you in the startup process. I myself and Tobias and Kutumi will help you with the practical side of that. Once you go through the cycles of the first phase, you will understand that in the second phase that you will witness, that you will experience, the guiding turns into something totally different. It turns into a personal guidance that either enters into your life in the physical reality, or it enters into your life in the energy reality that is around you. From that point on, all rules are off. That means that we no longer have to, and this is going to be a strange sentence for you light workers, but we no longer have to take into account your free will at least your free will to stay into the mind. Because once you have gone through the first phase, as Akara has said, you can never go down again. A big battle at that point has been lost. The battle of the mind versus the consciousness. You see? And that is when the real work begins. That is when it really begins. But we are November 9th today, and we are not yet at the point where you will take these steps into the second phase. So let's begin at the beginning. The only reason why I came in tonight is to offer all of you the chance to do a little assignment. Yes? Let's call it a classroom assignment. It's a very simple one too, but one that you are not going to like to do, because it involves homework. Homework that will take place once this day is over. It's going to be a very simple one, and it's going to allow you to do everything that we and all the others have planned for you tomorrow. Because today was a day of listening, a day of sitting, a day of hearing all these things that were fired into your minds. Tomorrow is going to be a day of action. A day where you take everything that you have learned today and you will put that into action. But in order to do that, you need to look at yourselves. Not just through your own eyes, but also through the eyes of your group members. You have all been assigned a group, right? You have all been invited to take part in a group. Now, before you go out of this room tonight, I invite you to connect with your group again and to look all of them very deeply into the eyes. Very deeply. Look into the eyes and look into the soul and look into the heart and look into the mind as well. And as you do, see the other there and see yourself reflected back. And then, when you are in your room tonight, take a piece of paper or several pieces of paper and start writing. What have you seen as you looked those other people in their eye? What did they share about themselves? What did you see? What do you think their fears are? What do you think their hopes are? What do you think their dreams are? What do you think they like about themselves? What do you think they feel unsure about? What are the parts of their body and the parts of their personality that they perceive as ugly? And you are going to come back into this room tomorrow and read that aloud to them. See what that does to the ego. But, at the same time, once you have written that down, and of course this is free choice, I'm not saying that you have to do it, I'm just inviting you to do it. Once you have written that down, I invite you to find this object known in society as a mirror. And to stand in front of the mirror and to look yourself in the eye, and to see yourself, and to look in your soul, and to look in your brain and in your mind, and in your heart as well. And see yourself as though you were a completely separate person. And then, write down what you think that person which is in the mirror, likes and hates about himself or herself? What are his or her hopes and dreams? You see, I am inviting you to look at yourselves from the point of the ultimate observer, a higher self. Go into channel, if you like. You all have the ability to do so, especially with your higher self. Channel your higher self. Channel that part of yourself that is angelic, that is divine, that doesn't go to sleep. That part of yourself that is always aware. And have them look at this moment in time when you are standing in front of the mirror. What do you see? What does that person like and hate? What is it all about? Why is this life the way it is? Be open, be true, and be very, very cruel. And by cruel, I mean brutally direct. This is not the time to shy away, Imzaia. This is no longer the time to say to yourself, maybe tomorrow. Maybe I'll change my life tomorrow. Tonight I'm just gonna have some wine or a beer and maybe some sex, and tomorrow we'll see. Tomorrow we'll do it all over again. Now. No. No. Now. Right now. It's just one effing hour out of your effing life. And you can do it. Write it down. About the others in your group, but be very specific about yourself. And that's all that I'm asking you to do. From that point on, you will have made the distinction between the person in the mirror and the person looking at the person in the mirror. And you will see there is not much of a difference between looking at yourself in that mirror and looking your group members into the eye. It will bring you into the eye. It will bring you into the center of you. And then tomorrow, you are going to find out just exactly what others feel about you, how they perceive you. And I have this nagging feeling that you're not always going to like it. But at the same time, I also have a nagging feeling that you're going to be surprised to find out that the things that you wrote about yourself and the things that others wrote about you are going to be quite different. And then you are going to see that all you are perceiving is a shattered reality based on the mind input that you are getting. It's the beginning, the very beginning. Now, of course, we don't have the privilege of a long time together. I have some, and Ikara and so many others have some people that we are spending a lot of time with, day after day after day after day. But we don't have that time. We don't have that privilege. So if you're going to make a difference in your lives, do not hesitate. Do it. And be hard on yourself in the coming days. That's the reason why you came in the first place. That's the reason why you are here in the first place. That's the reason why you have answered the call. Not the call that we asked the others to send out through an email, but the call that we gave you long before that email was ever written. Email for this seminar. And even then, if you don't believe in the power of the moment, this seminar could just be a first step. Just like this exercise that we have now asked you to do is going to be a first step. And tomorrow, It's always funny to say human things. Tomorrow wear light clothes, if you wish, because we're going to be moving around a lot. We are going to shake you up. We are going to shake your system up, not through physical exercise, but believe me, the things you are going to go through are going to have an emotional impact. And sometimes might even lead to the point where you feel that you are losing your marbles, so to speak. But all of that is fine. All of that. I have told you the story at the beginning of this chat of Kuan Yin and the choices that she made. You will make similar choices. They might be of a different nature, but they will be of a similar energy. And all of you, deep down, will know what these choices are. Do not avoid them. Look them straight in the eye when they present themselves, and know that everything around you is just an illusion. Tomorrow you will see why that is so. Tomorrow you will see that why in your lives at current you have never, ever, ever actually experienced unconditional, true, universal love in your life. And that's a pretty bold statement for me to make. Because I know that some of you here believe that you have had that experience. But you haven't. If you had, you wouldn't be sitting here right now. If you had, you would probably be standing next to me here right now, in energy, waiting to come into this body, to give a final chat tonight. You have never experienced universal love that was not based on any condition. I'm not trying to get you down. I'm not trying to enhance the sale of Prozac and everything. But what I'm doing is I'm just showing you truth. And if I didn't love you this much, I wouldn't say these things. You have never experienced unconditional love, unconditional joy, unconditional freedom, unconditional truth for one moment in your life. Because that feeling, my beloved, beloved friends and family, my soul family, that feeling is what ascension, inscension, whatever you want to call it, is all about. But I know for a fact, as I'm looking at all of you right now and all of your potentials floating around you in your magnetic field, that those possibilities for experiencing that are there. They are. And the good news is that they're there for everybody on the planet that is still here right now. Otherwise, they wouldn't be on the planet. So, do your assignment if you wish, but I suggest that you do. It's free will, of course. And then, after that, get ready. Maybe you should try, and this is going to sound strange obviously, maybe you should try not to sleep tonight. Why not? Because sleep, my dear beloved ones, is just a pattern. You have been taught that these bodies of yours need to shut down for several hours. You have been taught that you can only stay awake for that long, and then you have to enter a period of rest. You have been taught so many things. If you truly believe that the illusion of form is there and that you can break it, then why does your consciousness need your form to sleep? It's not necessary. The only real sleep that exists in this universe when the body needs to shut down is when you travel dimensions. Oh, now you all say, I will travel dimensions tonight, I won't sleep. Yes. Well, the reason why I am asking you, the reason why I am inviting you to do that is very simple. As you will go into the mind process and breaking the mind process, you will know, you will learn that the mind, as it can no longer control you in this reality of time and space, it will start doing so in your dreams. So it will start feeding you those images that you are no longer accepting here. It's all about driving the mind insane. It is all about making the mind so hungry by not giving it what it wants, that in the end, it just lets go of you. That's what is called not the mind of thought, but the mind of pain. Everything that is linear, everything that is, how shall I say, in definition, that is based on illusion, is afraid of something. Now the mind, even though it sometimes uses this to get what it wants, is basically afraid of pain. Pain to the mind is not getting what it wants. So if you don't give it what it wants, it will eventually go away. It is time to start seeing yourselves in a more practical light. I know that you have been listening to these words for so many years in some cases. I know that you have been doing all the workshops and all the exercises. I even know some of you personally because I have spoken to you in the past. But I also know that if you choose this, you are going to enter a process that will bring you to a space that you have never been in before. You haven't been there by reading the books or by doing the exercises, but you will get there. You have been provided with this opportunity, after all, because you have gotten to a point right now where it is ready for you, where you can experience it. And I know some of you must be thinking this is bullshit. And I know some of you must be thinking that it's too soon. And I know some of you must be thinking that you have just gotten to this energy thing, this spirituality thing, just a couple of weeks ago or just a couple of months ago. But yes, if you have gotten to this point, it is time to undergo the process. Now, as Akara before was bringing in the sovereign circle of support, he wasn't just bringing in all the angelic and master energies and your own energies, he was also activating something within that which you call the Imzaia fellowship. Because all of these people that have been traveling for so many months have been going through the process that you are now invited to step into, and as they have had these prior experiences, just a couple of months, they are in a good position to offer you their assistance, let alone just to tell you how their journey has been. That is why we have asked those presenting this seminar to divide you in groups and to place you with one of these people, so they can give you the information that they have learned, so you don't have to go through the mistakes and the hardship that they have gone through. It is an exponential experience. Every person that learns can teach another person about easier ways to do this. It is exponential in nature. Pioneers are always needed. And in the coming days you will learn much more. It is not just about yourself. It is not just about this group of people that call themselves the Imzaia Fellowship. You will learn in the coming days that there are thousands and thousands of people bringing themselves together in teams or in groups that are doing the work on this planet that you have been wanting to see happen for such a long time. It is happening now. And you will see the results of it in the coming weeks. Actually, you are already seeing results of it. Isn't it interesting, for instance, that there is an experiment going on in Belgium with the government where we are trying to make it so that mind can no longer rule over anyone. As this experiment took place, it has been 150 plus days since a government was formed. And as you will see, it will not form. Not in the condition of mind. Only in the conditions or the non-conditions of consciousness. And just as a reminder, the American elections are coming up really soon. It is time, Imzaia, and that's the last thing I'm going to say today, to get off your butts. It is time to stop repeating the same messages over and over and over. We have been doing it for a very long time. But right now, as the new energy came into the planet Earth, and as the free energy is activating, we have found some bold few who want to make the difference happen. It always starts with several people that grow into more people, that grow into more people, that eventually become consciousness itself. And as these people are doing it, you now have the opportunity to finally do it. We will guarantee you that you won't fall. We will guarantee you that you will fly. Fly beyond your wildest dreams and your wildest imagination. As you open up the gate to the life that awaits you, we, as your servants, your sovereign servants, will accompany you along the way. And let us make this agreement then, right here and then. If you succeed, you owe Adamus Saint Germain a beer. And so it is.